Hello everybody and welcome to week 12 of the 2016 NFL season. As always, I'm your host, the one and the only, the team match at 112, and we like to roll intros here. But we also like to talk about football. So, let's just get down to it, shall we? Starting off with week 11, going 8-6. Still saying above 500, but way too close for comfort. And if we look at back at some of the games I lost, most of them are reasonable. Going against Carolina, trying to get the Saints to nod. You win some, you lose some. Indy has a record of always beating Tennessee, so I thought the chance of Tennessee winning one, I'll take that. Rams starting their QB, they had that one. They gave it up. Saddening day. Green Bay officially telling me that they suck. Like, it's not even close games that are bad, that are missing a couple plays. They suck. Their offense is okay. Aaron Rodgers is still one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league currently, but they've proven to me they suck. They suck, and they suck. As for the Cardinals-Vikings game, that was a good game. I watched part of it, not all of it, but it was a good game. So the fact the Vikings won it, and now getting back on track, makes the NFC West a lot more interesting. And how about the Buccaneers going into Arrowhead and beating KC? In my opinion, that's the upset. The most upset game. The biggest upset game of Week 11. But other than that, I look at my 8-6 record for Week 11, and I can't be upset. Let's move on to the games of Week 12, shall we? As I say down below, I am 91-68-2. I'm hearing some people have already passed 100. Well, aren't you lucky in your predictions? I'm sorry that my minor biasism and unluckiness gets in the way. And now I'm 91-68-2. Upsets are a thing. Upsets are a thing. Now, alright, let's get into the category, shall we? You know how we roll here. 3 categories. Let's start off with the most interesting game of the week. A couple divisional games are going on, so it's always, of course, expected for it to be interesting. And a lot of interesting matchups. I mean, heck, look at the Monday night game, Green Bay at Philadelphia. We all started the season thinking, well, this is just a crappy game that Green Bay's going to wipe the floor with. Well, now Green Bay's sucking, and Philly, more or less, is doing relatively good enough. I mean, at least our record is better than Green Bay's at the moment. So, hard to go against it. And then, of course, some of the more famous divisional games. The New England Patriots and the Jets game got moved down, not in primetime anymore. They moved that to KC and Denver, which I find stupid because they already have KC and Denver on a Sunday night game in Christmas. Because for whatever reason, no one wants to put Pittsburgh and Baltimore as a primetime game. But I digress. Anyway, my most interesting game of the week happens to be on Thanksgiving. Minnesota at Detroit. Now, I was debating between a couple other games. Another one who will be later discussed in the topics. But then there was also Dallas and the Redskins game. But I ultimately went with this one because a lot more is at stake, personally. Right now, whoever wins this game will get a first place nod in the division. Detroit has already beaten Minnesota at Minnesota. So now that we're at Detroit, Detroit is slightly more favored. Minnesota trying to keep up, trying to get back on track after losing, 5 in a row? 4 in a row? I don't remember. I lost track. But nonetheless, they're trying to keep up Thanksgiving against the Lions team, who, in history, has done a lot good on Thanksgiving. So it'll be an interesting game. It's at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, but we're in Detroit, so I think they're at 11:30. I don't know my time zones that well. So it'll be an interesting early morning-ish game, which not really that early because most games start at 1 or 12 or whatever. Anyway, depending on where you're at. But I'm expecting a good divisional game. I'm expecting all of us to have a good morning Thursday morning for Thanksgiving. Some of you might watch the Macy's Day Parade. Others of you will be on this game. It'll be a good game nonetheless. And I'm expecting things to be close. And PATs to be made. Cough, cough. Next one. We're on to the most close scoring game. Now, unlike last week, there's actually some interesting games on this list. Like we talked about Minnesota and Detroit, Washington at Dallas. You can debate Carolina, Oakland, and Seattle, Tampa Bay. I think Seattle and Tampa Bay is going to be pretty interesting as well, if you think about it. Because Tampa Bay was able to surprise everyone with the KC win. Not what they can do with Seattle. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be intrigued by it. But of course, I went with two relatively high-scoring teams. I actually don't know their stats that well. I should really pay attention to stats. Sorry. I went with Arizona at Atlanta. I'm keeping this close because it's Atlanta's offense. Arizona has a relatively good defense, whether you want to look at it that way or not. Heck, if you look at, 14 of the points? I don't know, because people keep missing PATs. I don't know what was 7 and what was 6. Very frustrating. But, nonetheless, 14 of the 30 points Minnesota got was from special teams. And another 7 came from a pick... No, I'm an idiot. 14 points came from special teams or the pick 6. And the pick 6. I'm grammaring badly. Whatever. So, a lot of Minnesota's points wasn't their offense. Give or take. And Arizona's points were all offense. I believe. I don't know what I'm saying. But nonetheless, this is a good game. I'm expecting a lot of points. I'm expecting anyone who has Arizona and Atlanta players, minus Carson Palmer, don't start him. Bad decision. Other than that, all those players, I recommend starting them in your fantasy lineups if you have either Falcons or Cardinals players. I expect high scoring. I expect a lot of points. I expect David Johnson to help wreak havoc on my fantasy team. You guys don't know what it's like to have David Johnson on your fantasy team. And if you do, it feels good. A lot of my 8-3 success, which I did win my fantasy game last week, is contributed to David Johnson. Because he's the real MVP. Alright, final game, biggest blowout game. I struggled for a second looking at this because some of these games, But then word broke out. Certain someone's in concussion protocol. By the name of Andrew Luck. So I'm thinking, well, this was already a blowout game last year. Now they don't have Andrew Luck. They're starting some guy named Scott Tolzien, I believe. If Andrew Luck can't come. Pittsburgh's going to wreak havoc. That defense is going to get up on Mr. Tolzien and the crappy O-line. And our receiver core. T.Y. Hilton is a decent receiver, and Frank Gore is a good running back. Not as much as he used to be, but Pittsburgh's going to wreak havoc. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So, there's that. I almost want to put Tennessee at Chicago, but Chicago's also losing their starting quarterback. And if Tennessee can put 45 on Green Bay, who knows what they can put on Chicago. But yeah, I have Pittsburgh blowing out Indianapolis. Shall see what happens. My Week 12 picks, now that we have all the games going. I'd taken the Lions mainly because it is at home and they do play better on Thanksgiving. So I'll take that. Cowboys over Redskins. Cowboys going to make a statement. No, Washington. You think you're high-powered, but no. For the first time in forever, I'm hoping that the Ravens can actually beat the Bengals. Because the Bengals suck, and now they don't have A.J. Green, which makes me happy. I mean, sad for him. He's a great player. Hope he gets better, etc., etc. But the Ravens want this win. We need a win. So, because the Steelers are getting another easy game. So, and the Ravens have a harder schedule. So we need these wins against the Bengals. We really need them. I'm taking the Falcons on this one mainly because they're off the bye and they've been performing a lot better than Arizona. Bills over Jags, reasonable argument. Titans over Bears, reasonable. Giants over Browns, reasonable. Colts is an upset, but I have San Diego over Houston. Mainly because I don't trust Houston as a team. Yeah, they gave trouble for Oakland, and you can argue the refs for that game. But I feel like San Diego, as a team overall, is better than Houston. So I have a good feeling that San Diego could run the table with Houston. Dolphins over Niners. The Dolphins on a win streak. The Niners on a lose streak. Simple as that. I notice, for whatever reason, I keep picking the Saints to win games. I want them to win games. Because I want them to be decent and relevant. Because Drew Brees, and Brandon Cooks. I don't know. I like the team. I want them to do better. Seattle over Tampa Bay. I feel like Tampa Bay might pull an upset. I feel like they could. But, I don't know. Keep an eye out for that game. Oakland over Carolina, because Oakland's on a hot streak. Carolina is more or less. New England over the Jets. Reasonable. The Jets could be tricky. So be careful. Denver over KC. I don't trust KC at all. And call this another upset. Philly over Green Bay. Philly plays better at home. Green Bay is acting like crap. They have no secondary and hopes, though the remains of whatever receivers Philadelphia has, can push them down, score high points. Those are my Week 12 picks. Super Bowl 51 prediction. Yes, I know you can't see but the watermark from the recorder, but it's Super Bowl 51 prediction. As of the end of Week 11, nothing's changed. New England versus Dallas. The only teams that can be brought up to debate over here on the AFC, Oakland, maybe Denver. Pittsburgh's too low right now and hard to trust anyone else. Over on the NFC, I mean, Seattle, they could do something. You also got Atlanta. Watch out for them. Green Bay's too much on a low streak that I can't trust them. I don't even know if I can trust them to make the playoffs at this point. And then you also got the Giants could be sneaky. I don't know, every time the 2 times the Giants sneak into the playoffs as of recent, they've went to the Super Bowl. They could sneak in. And maybe Minnesota, if they can get healthy, because by week 15 or 16, I think, or maybe even 17, they'll get AP back. AP is supposed to be back late in the season, so we can see what happens. Time will tell. Time will tell. But that's my prediction as of now. And of course, let's keep you up with the league. I beat Sean to secure my first place again. Because, no, Shawnee, you can't get up yet. Jared beats James for his 6th consecutive win after starting out 0-5, putting him now in the top 4 with everyone, putting him in a playoff spot currently if the season were to end today. But we go another 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens. He could run the table some more. Chris beating Keith going downhill, and Chris attempting to make a comeback to come up. And Nathan beat Micah to keep things interesting. So the top 4 as usual. 3 of us changed our names. Myself, Dak to the Future. Yeah, because I have Dak Prescott. I drafted Carson Palmer, but after him performing never so poorly, Dak Prescott's now my starting quarterback in fantasy. And he is nice. He is nice. Sean went from the Warriors Golden State reference to a Raiders reference. So, and because he's Sean, Maureen Woodson. And Chris, being the Vikings fan he is, and the meme lord that he is, digs out for Harambe. Other than that, everyone else kept their names the same. I even put our actual names next to it so you can remember who's who because of the name switch. And that's about everything for me today. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you think of the picks, what you think of the names that we've changed to. If you have any reason to agree or disagree with me, I'm all ears. And good luck to your guys' teams. See you all in week 13. Goodbye.